Hawkes, and we're here in my kitchen where some of you who have come to the Wine Club dinners have had food produced here. And today we have a turkey cooking in the oven, and I'm going to show you cranberry orange raw relish to go along with the turkey. This is a recipe that I have kept and was on the packages of cranberries in the old days and doesn't seem to be anymore, that we like very much. So I usually make one batch of this and one batch of the whole cooked cranberry sauce. So to begin with, I just open the package of cranberries, and I have one navel orange, which are just coming into season. And so what I'm doing is cutting up the orange, and unfortunately it's not, highly colored and really nice the way they will be later in the season. And it works well because you don't have to worry about the seeds. And because I'm using the standard smaller size food processor, I'm going to do it in 2 batches so as not to be trying to move all the cranberries and all the pieces of orange around there at the same time, because I want it to be fairly uniformly chopped. So half of the orange goes in with the steel blade in the food processor. Then half the bag of cranberries, and you don't have to worry about measuring with either of these. You just kind of put what looks like half and then save the other half. And you want to pulse so that you don't have part of it that turns to mush and part of it that's still big pieces. Give it a little bit of a stir. Scrape off the part on the underside of the lid if it looks like there's some big pieces there. One more, scrape down. Okay, so that looks about right. There's still some bigger pieces of orange, but the nice thing about this is you add the sugar, which I will after I do both batches, and then you leave it for several hours, and it helps soften the orange rind, and it all kind of mixes together better. So I'll scrape that out into the bowl and then do the second batch the same way. I have pretty much always liked cooking. I grew up with a mother who cooked, a grandmother who cooked in a rather limited way, but we spent a couple of years living in an upstairs flat in a house that my grandparents owned in the town I was born in. And I have these wonderful memories of going downstairs on Saturday morning while my parents slept in and baking pies and arugula and things like that with my grandmother on Saturday mornings in her kitchen. And then she also gardened. She always had a vegetable garden, and I would go and stay with her sometimes when I was a little bit older and we didn't live quite so nearby, and help in the garden. So here's what this looks like now. You can see there are still some big pieces of orange, which I could sort of take out, and if you choose to, you could chop a little bit more, but I think it'll be fine once it kind of soaks for a while. So I will start with 3/4 of a cup of sugar, and this is my favorite measuring cup. It probably came from my grandmother's house. So this is 3/4 of a cup, and then I will just stir it up. And taste it, and you can either taste it now or let it soak for a while and taste it after it kind of comes to equilibrium with the fruit and the sugar, and see if you think it needs a little more sugar. So starting with 3/4 of a cup is about right. And that's going to be pretty much it. And what I'll do is cover it and refrigerate it for a couple of hours and taste it then and see if I think it needs any more sugar. There's that one.